you tell me about a time when your instincts were wrong and how you handled that?
Yeah, definitely. There were there's times as a designer, as a product person, where you could kind of see the end state, right? Know where something is going. And so I think our natural tendency, or at least mine, is to not only get there, but push beyond it. And I remember when I became chief design officer at Sound United, um, one of the bigger brands that they owned was the 40 plus year old American audio brand named Polk Audio, and beautiful heritage of hand making kind of wooden speakers that had really high end sound quality, kind of punched above their price point, basically. Like a really great sound for more expensive than your stuff that you would just typically get at Best Buy, but very approachable, right? So I kind of saw this kind of trend of mid-century modern furniture kind of mainstreaming. You can look at brands, whether it's CB2 or Article or kind of this kind of, again, mid-tier, slightly retro modern furniture coming in. And one of the biggest complaints about big audio speakers is that they're big audio speakers and they're big black boxes that take up room in living rooms. I really pushed hard to create this beautiful AirPlay speaker called the Woodburn. That's like this kind of white oval with a real mahogany top. The UI, instead of being black or silver, was this kind of brushed nickel, kind of champagne metal finish. And, designers loved it. Everybody's like, this thing is amazing. The concept was to be kind of furniture grade electronics and looks great in your living room. Looks really weird in Best Buy though, when it's next to a bunch of black boxes. And it just was just way too much, way too fast. And I remember like the CEO who I mentioned earlier, Jim Minerick, he brought me out to the warehouse and he's like, "Hey, Michael, you see all those boxes up there?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's the Woodburn. And so if those don't sell, those are people's Christmas bonuses right there. Like they have to sell." And for me, it was just a really important lesson to be like, okay, like, even though what I saw was correct, what I was doing was way too much, way too fast for the customer, for the brand. And we ended up kind of toning that design language back into something called the Signature Series that was a little bit more rectilinear, still had softer edges, still had kind of warm metallics, but it was just a little bit more acceptable. And that ended up becoming like a massive success for the company. And I always get back to kind of Raymond Loewy's principle of Maya. If you don't know who Raymond Loewy is, he's one of the first industrial designers. I think the only industrial designer ever to be on the cover of Time magazine, and was kind of had his heyday right after World War II but he had this product principle called Maya, which is an acronym for the most advanced yet acceptable solution. And that was a huge Maya lesson for me. Like I had done something that was very advanced and very on trend, but it was too far to be acceptable. And so, it's a lesson that I hope not to learn twice. So just understand, okay, like how far can we really push it and let it still be a successful thing?
Wow. Wow. I'm just thinking about how design prevented something from selling, and then how a design change actually, I don't know if this is the story had a happy ending. The design saved the Christmas bonuses. You gotta save Christmas. This sounds like like a Hallmark movie or something like that. That I think that's what's frustrated me about the ideas of the world where they don't do the minimum advance, like the recommendations are like avant-garde because they're consultants or something like that. And for a while, it really influenced digital design, where it led to, I think, the de-influence of the design function in
Mhm.
businesses, because we were thought like, no, like we're advocating for the user or the customer, and we're making the best possible experience, which usually means the most advanced, it translates it to the most advanced experience. And then you make something that's not feasible or viable
Right.
or desirable, except to some early adopters. And if you're working for a big business, they don't want the early adopters. They want to appeal to the mass market because that's where the money is. And I'm assuming, coming from industrial design and physical product design, which is a more mature discipline, obvious for obvious reasons, so it's a more mature discipline than the digital street.